48 million dogs in the US are obese or overweight. 12 million cats fall in the same group. Why is this insidious, fatal, and debilitating disease gaining ground in the US? Obesity decreases life expectancy and quickly deteriorates the quality of pets' lives. Today we explore answers to these and other questions coming up next. Good morning, fellow pet lovers. How in the world are you? Today we're going to talk about obesity and our kids. Why my pet isn't fat, perhaps. I'm asked all the time why or if Fido or Fluffy has a weight problem. And rarely do I tell them that their pets are perfect. The most important thing is that they have some concern about their pet's weight in general. The problem with obesity and ourselves and our general pet population is multifaceted and extremely complex and widespread, reaching epidemic proportions. If this were an infectious contagious disease, we would be dealing with more of an epidemic than anything else. So today we're going to have an introduction to the problem, some potential solutions, but we're not going to be able to cover every drop of the situation. We're going to leave that for future studies and a series, I think, that's going to evolve around this. The data I have that I'm going to share with you comes from a recently released study from the American Veterinary Medical Association, their Pet Ownership and Democratic Sourcebook. They keep track of all kinds of things, and they publish this document, I think, every 4 or 5 years. So from this, we find some very interesting and fairly large numbers. 48.3 million households owned a dog when this study was completed. I think it was about, you know how statistics are, they collect them and then it takes a long time anyway to actually make a report. So this is probably a current report, but the data ends probably 24 months ago or so. But that represented an 11.4% increase in the number of dogs and households in the U.S. This is entirely United States. And that represented a canine population of approximately 76.8 million dogs. They reported that 50% of the households in the U.S. own a dog, and that 63 to 56% were overweight. The range represents, I think, the difficulty in collecting accurate information and just how people, including veterinarians, look at obesity and weight and what's normal and what's not normal and where the cutoff is. Because the difference between black and white and gray becomes gray all too many times. We use a charting scale of essentially 0 to 9-ish, where 6-ish is perfect, 6 to 7.5, 6 to 7 is perfect. Below 6, they're on the I'm too thin side. Below 5, 4, 3, they're emaciated and came from some type of concentration camp. And then you see 8s and 9s that are 10 and 20. Well, 9s could be 30 or 40% above their ideal body weight. Hello, how you all today?
Good.
That's good. I'm good too, but I think the world of computers doesn't like me here. So my dog isn't fat. I hear that all the time. Unfortunately, it's a lot simpler than saying, go take Fido or Fluffy home and put them on a diet. It works, it doesn't work. We're going to look at a couple reasons why, a lot of reasons why, and some insight on how we can make some progress, because this is a very complex disease. I was scrolling through the slides before, but essentially we know that over 50% of the dogs in this country are overweight, studies range from 50 plus up to 63%. And that over a third of the kitties in the country are overweight. That's way too many. I mean, if you do the math, we're in the millions of pets that are at risk for ugly diseases. This is more significant than any type of coronavirus for longevity, and we want solutions. We want to know why so many of our efforts for so long of a period of time have been unsuccessful. Why is that? Intellectually, we can look at the situation and see that they're going to get osteoarthritis, they're going to get degenerative joint disease. Statistically, they're going to significantly increase for diabetes or pancreatitis, high blood pressure, and the like. Most importantly, longevity is decreased. How long they're going to live is going to be shortened, and none of us want that. And yet, that hidden shrinker of years and months to our beloved pets is going on right before over 50% of the dogs and a third of the kitties that we come in contact with. So, why? Why is this? Why are our efforts seemingly futile? Why do only 10% respond to diets and other forms of weight reduction protocols? And why do a vast majority of those pets that have lost weight gain it back? The biggest culprit and match partner in this scenario of progressive problems and decreased longevity is arthritis, degenerative joint disease, osteoarthritis, synonyms for pretty much the same thing, depending on whether you want to be simple or technical. Patient increases weight, patient increases in age, you get some arthritic changes, you get pain, you get reduced mobility, and then you get what? You get weight loss, or weight gain. And the weight gain, you have this vicious cycle that keeps going and going and going. And we get very frustrated at trying to be able to make some inroads in that process. I think one of the insights is that people have so much of a problem with weight loss, and they extrapolate the fact to their own pets that it's a big deal, hard to do. I couldn't do it myself. My best friend couldn't do it. I've gained weight. I've lost it. I've gained it back. I think there's an extrapolation of if it's futile for me, it's futile to try for my kitty. It's futile to try for my puppy. And I think we need to get that mindset erased if we're going to make any progress in keeping our pets healthy and keeping them on the track with a good long-term longevity that their DNA is coded for, that God is coded for, but we, through mismanagement, I really believe it's our problem because we should be recognizing this much more early. Approaches to weight loss in people have been multimodal. The first one that I can, and there are hundreds of these folks with various variations, but big classifications. The Atkins model. Atkins was lots of protein and no fat. Protein, good, wrong. Protein, good, carbohydrates, no. So high protein diets. The Atkins model, approaches to weight loss. Atkins basically is a high protein, no fat. I got that again. Atkins diet. The Atkins diet is a high protein, no carbohydrate, low carbohydrate, carbohydrate restricted diet. Do people get on Atkins? Do they lose weight? Yes. Do they get healthier? Yes. Atkins has zillions of studies to show that people with high blood pressure, diabetes, whatsoever, they get on the Atkins diet, their insulin requirements goes down, their blood pressure goes better, they do better. Great. Everyone? No. Study groups, portion of the population, great. Pritikin, decades before Atkins. I may even have it spelled incorrectly. I don't know. Guess what? Same exact statistics. Patients would go in with coronary disease. Patients would go in with cardiac disease. They would go in with diabetes and high blood pressure. Pritikin is a carbohydrate, balanced, high carbohydrate diet with no fat. No fat, moderate, but not restricted protein. But a no fat diet, lettuce with 10% would be almost an evil type thing. Did people have insulin requirements improve? Did people have diabetes improve? Did people have coronary disease improve? Yes. About the same percentages as Atkins. Same group, same population group? No. Different people respond to different approaches. We've seen that historically with our dogs. Believe it or not, well, not that unbelievable, there's the equivalent of an Atkins model for the canine and feline. A percentage do better. There's the equivalent, that would be the MD diet for diabetic cats, for a severe, accurate example. Most of them do great. Do everyone do great? No. Before that diet, we put them all on WD. WD was invented, discovered, engineered is a better word, by Hills to solve type 2 diabetes in the kitty. Did it work? Yes. Did it work in every patient? No. So what's going on here? There's new models that are going out. Hills and other companies have research on putting antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, naturally occurring things into the food that are normal balance, normal carbohydrate, normal fat, normal protein, not any weird skewing like the Atkins and Pritikin model, and they got improved weight loss. They got improved health. Is it working for every patient? No. So, and people, I don't know of anybody that's doing this in dogs. I'm almost going to say I hope not. But what I call drip diets, where, well, they do drip diets. A drip diet would be just feeding little bits across the day. There was I don't remember what that one popular book was, but little bits spread out over the course of the day. The natural feline behavior is to do that. They catch 2 or 3 mice, 5 mice, how many mice a day over a period of time, and they eat a little bit here and a little bit there and a little bit there, so that mimics a natural type behavior. Interval diets, intermediate fasting diets, such as fast for 12 hours, eat what you want for the next 12. Fast, eat fast. And 12 isn't the magic number. Some people are doing fast for 16, eat the rest. Some people are doing fast for even more than that. Kind of an extreme type situation. Are they working? The little I know about them, in some cases, yes. For how long? I don't know. I know the research for that. I think Jenny Craig put out the 12 and 12 type diet and showed an increase in weight loss and sustainability for a certain group of people. Most importantly, early assessment. We don't want a 15-year-old Cocker Spaniel that's 12 or 15 pounds overweight to decide when they're 15 years old that, hey, I think I need to be losing some pounds. We need to intervene much, 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 much earlier than that. The average age that patients are generally diagnosed or detected or assessed at having obesity or weight imbalance on the high side is about age 7. But when they come into my office at age 7 and they're overweight, they didn't get there at 6 months, at 6 years and 11 months. It's been progressing very, very slowly and very, very insidiously. And so I think it's very, very important with our yearly checkups and our well patient checkups that we establish a protocol where we can monitor the patient's weight. Our fancy software can print out a chart of the patient's weight. And I think we're going to start doing that more consistently to see exactly what's going on and to give you a better handle on what's changing or not changing or threatening our pets' health and longevity. So WASAVA, the World Small Animal Veterinary Association, interesting group. Most people have never heard of it. They have an outstanding program. It's sponsored. It's comprised of veterinarians from all around the world, some pretty high-powered, intelligent people. They put out information, and it's a good collective compass point for this concept of one world, one health, one population, whether it's animal, vegetable, animal or human. So WASAVA, in their guidelines, small animal care, every, strong word, every patient should have a nutritional recommendation and evaluation annually. Every patient should have a nutritional evaluation and recommendation annually. The problem in my profession is that we're struggling with all kinds of different things. And COVID doesn't help matters any, because the average time for a patient that's in the building is increased by a good 20 or 30 minutes. We're working on getting that down. We're successful at getting that down with the new, with just, I think, practice and refining some protocols, but it's still taking more time. Most clients don't want to spend their life in my lobby. I love them. I love you. I think you love me, but there's only so many hours and minutes that you want to spend here when you need to get the kids off to school. Of course, school's not happening now until August or while, but to get the kids off to school and get your errands done, get the house organized, get to work, get back from work. A lot of people between on lunch breaks try to come in. Lunch breaks get compromised if you got an hour and we need an hour plus. So there's a time restriction, and we end up prioritizing. You come in with a bad tooth, not likely we're going to end up with a nutritional recommendation when we're dealing with a bad tooth and a not eating and pus dripping down somebody's chin or the like. So time has to be allocated to get that information across. And I think my profession struggles with frustration because so many patients we can recognize as overweight. Many have had a recommendation for diet and exercise, and they just aren't getting better. And we don't know what to do. We don't know if the diet's wrong. We don't know if the patient's wrong. We don't know if the... sometimes clients honestly will say, we've done everything, but we haven't been able to exercise. We haven't been able to this, so we can fine-tune this and fine-tune that. But it's very frustrating when patients come in that you know you could be helping, you know you could get to improve, but they're just at this plateau. And that is part of my own personal frustrations and the like. I feel that sometimes I'm not able to communicate how important it is and accomplish what needs to be accomplished of motivating a client and the pet on the other side of the examination table, now the other side of the parking lot, to lose weight and to get healthier. So the solutions include, there's no black and white solution other than the old quip of diet and exercise. Well, decrease calories, increase exercise, and you're going to lose weight. And I think that's true. I think all of us would agree with that. And I'm not quite sure medical science has a different formula for that. But the real problem comes down to is, why doesn't that occur? Is it a belief that the pet really isn't overweight? Is it a belief that the solution isn't going to work? Is it a belief that, yes, I'm going to do it someday, but that someday never comes? There's not a buy-in by us as pet owners that we really have to do this today. We might think that it's bad. We might think their life expectancy is going to decrease, but we don't take the steps to really get things under control. So diet, fat, and obesity have become all four-letter words. We can start tomorrow is a kind of a battle cry, but tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow never comes. The solution isn't instant. You can't give them pills, although there are pills out there that are supposed to absorb fat. I think that was a fad. That came out 5-7 years ago. I'm not quite sure of any patients that actually really benefited from that. And our past failures, I think, haunt us and somehow prevent us from going forward. We know that they're going to have a decreased lifespan. We know that they could get a stroke. We know that they could have high blood pressure. We know they could get pancreatitis, but yet tomorrow never comes. I think part of the problem is that we compare ourselves to our pets. And in comparing ourselves to our pets, we have a life expectancy of 70-ish, plus or minus, whatever statistics that you want to go with, but significantly more than the 15-ish of an average dog or an average cat. Certainly a Bernese Mountain Dog isn't going to get out to 15 very commonly. You're down in the 8 to 10 range. So, but for us, if we're going to live to 70 or 80 or 90, my parents lived till their mid-90s, it's very easy to think, well, it's not going to affect me. And I don't know how much of that's a factor, but I think that has to be considered as one of the factors, is just not really buying into the fact that it's really going to affect them personally. I'm running out of time here today, but we're going to briefly touch on this, and then in our next episodes, as we get farther and deeper into the solutions and what we can do on a day-to-day basis, a month-to-month basis, and a long-term goal basis, I really feel that the problem comes down to a mindset, and that mindset goes back on the why and how we have our pets in our lap and our feet running across our computer table in the first place. Do we have the dogs and the cats in the house because they're going to clean it? Do they take out the garbage? Do they do the laundry? Do they babysit the kids when we need them? No, they're not. That's not in any of their job descriptions. We're going to look at reasons why we have our pets and how they influence that in our next episode. But for now, we'll take some questions in a few seconds. With that, I want to say that my goal and my prayer for you is to keep your pet and your companions healthy, to make them live longer, and to keep you worry-free. And with that, it's me, Dr. B, signing off. Have a great, healthy, and successful puppy and kitty day. Thanks for joining me today. For more information on obesity, check out this video here. If this video was a benefit, please subscribe and hit the bell below so you won't miss a single episode. Most importantly, please share these videos with your friends so that they and their pets can benefit as well. Thanks. I can't wait until I see you in the next episode.